Today is Sunday Fun Day, and I'm back with more quick and easy Dollar Tree DIYs. Today I'm transforming 3 different Dollar Tree jars into fun winter decor using some leftover thrifted fabric. Let's get started. For my first project today, I'm creating a fun flannel jar cover using this plastic jar from the Dollar Tree and a thrifted shirt that I got for just 49 cents on half off day at Volunteers of America. I recently showed how button-down shirt sleeves can be used for basket liners, so if you did that, this is something that you can do with the remaining part of the shirt. Since this fabric is pretty thick, I didn't have to paint the jar first, but if your fabric is a little see-through, you might want to consider giving your jar a quick coat of white paint. And you can use just the plain part of the fabric, but I decided that I liked the look of the buttons running vertically on the front of my jar, so here I'm figuring out my placement and trimming my fabric to size. I created a nice hemline by folding over the cut edge of the fabric and gluing it down. This will be the top of the jar cover, and since the fabric is plaid, I made sure to fold along one of the lines to make sure that it was perfectly straight. Next, it was time to glue the fabric to the container. I started with the line of buttons because I wanted that to be centered in the front and running straight up and down. Then I glued one side along the back and trimmed off the excess fabric. Next, I glued the other side down, making sure to line up the plaid, and you could barely tell where the overlap was. I trimmed off the excess and then folded over the fabric again to make another nice hemline and glued it down as well. Then I just glued the fabric around the bottom of the jar. And while I'm gluing, I'll mention that this video is part of the Sunday Fun Day challenge hosted by Yanni and Diane from Deco Easy and Trish and Kay from the Crafting Cousins. I'll link both of their channels in the description box below, as well as the playlist for the challenge. So be sure to check out their channels and then hop to the playlist to see what everyone comes up with. I added some twine around the neck of the jar. I just wrapped it around 4 or 5 times and then tied it with a shoelace bow. And here it is with some floral picks from Dollar Tree. I love how this turned out, and it's a great way to make use of extra fabric from other projects. I love the buttons running down the front, and there are endless options for shirts at the thrift store, so you will surely find one that works with your decor for any season. For this next project, I'm using this glass rose bowl vase from Dollar Tree and one of the plastic make-your-own snow globes also from Dollar Tree. And if you leave the lid on the snow globe, it snugly fits inside the rose bowl to the point where you don't even need to use any glue to hold it together. Now you could paint these or fill them with whatever you like, such as artificial snow from Dollar Tree or even greenery or lights, but I wanted to go a little unconventional on this one, so I'm using pink Himalayan bath salts. And those that have been with my channel for a while know that I love these bath salts and have used them in lots of different projects, including my fondue pot succulent planter, where I used them as filler. And that's one of my absolute favorite projects I've ever done on my channel, so I'll link it in a card above if you missed it. Next, I cut a little scarf from this leftover fur sweater I had from another project. I think the sweater was marked $2.99, but you know I like to go on half off day, so I got it for about $1.50. And after that, I cut little buttons from these gold florals I got at, you guessed it, the thrift store. That was another amazing find. It wasn't a half off day, but I got that huge bunch for only $3. After gluing those down, I decided that I wanted a fur hat to match the scarf, and I had previously used a sink strainer as a hat on a little snowman ornament last year, so I'm using the larger one as the form to cover with fabric. And I glued the hat upside down in the center of a square piece of the fabric and then worked in sections gluing the fabric around the hat. And there were a few places where the fabric bunched, but because of the furry nature of the fabric, it was really easy to disguise those areas by trimming and overlapping the fabric where it was needed. I just used a permanent black marker to add some round eyes and a mouth, and then I embellished the hat with more of the gold florals. I did glue the hat down, but the nice thing is that the two pieces are not glued together, so you could switch out the filler anytime you wanted. And here it is on my counter. You may notice that I added a little nose made out of the same gold florals, and I really love the texture of the bath salts. They're really unique. And this isn't my typical farmhouse style, but I had someone in mind for this. My friend Andrea loves pink and gold and furry things, so hopefully she'll like them all together. For my final project today, I'm making a little winter gnome. I'm using this little piggy bank jar and a long skinny oil funnel from the Dollar Tree, as well as some leftover thrifted fabric that I used for some sweater pumpkins this fall. Oh, and a mop head from the Dollar Tree as well. I started with a quick coat of white Waverly chalk paint on the jar and a mix of elephant and white on the funnel. I wanted to attach the pieces of the mop head around the rim of the jar to be my gnome's beard and hair. A trick I've used to speed up the process is to line up the strands along a piece of tape. I just laid down a piece of tape sticky side up and then folded each strand in half and stuck the folded side down to the tape. Then I added a second piece of tape sticky side down so that the pieces were stuck in between the two pieces of tape. Before attaching to the jar, I frayed out his hair by unraveling the strands of the mop head. Each piece is actually 4 strands twisted together, so I unraveled them, which makes the hair look a little more unruly, which is great for a raggedy old gnome. Then I just glued the tape around the rim of the jar and gave him a quick trim. The hat was really easy to cover with my fabric. It's just like a cone tree. Run a strip of glue down the back, press the fabric down and cut off the excess. Then roll the funnel around and glue down the other side. Finish by folding the fabric under the bottom edges and glue it to the inside of the cone. This fabric was a real steal too. I think it was just 99 cents at my favorite thrift store, Volunteers of America. I added a wood ball for the nose, which I got in a pack from Amazon, and then I embellished with some of the glittered boxwood looking stems that were with the holiday florals at Dollar Tree this year, and I also used a few mini pine cones from my stash. And here he is on my counter. Isn't he handsome? I love the neutral grays and whites and greens, but you could easily switch out the fabric or embellishments to fit your own decor. And the funnel makes his hat extra tall, so he's a little different than the norm, which I like. Thanks for joining me today. If you found me from the Sunday Fun Day playlist, I'd love for you to stick around and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with my content. The holiday DIY season is in full swing, and I'm already working on my projects for the Heidi Sambal Challenge this coming Friday, which you won't want to miss. So I hope to see you there. See you next time. Bye.